Welcome to this edition of The District. I am Joan Garner, Fulton County Commissioner for District 6. In 1979, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners established the Fulton County Arts Council to enhance the quality of life of Fulton County residents. The 15-member Arts Council, appointed by the Board of Commissioners, advises commissioners on arts and cultural-related policy. Each commissioner appoints 2 members for 2 years, rotating terms. The Fulton County Arts Council and the Fulton County Department of Arts and Culture serve as Fulton County's funding agency. Both entities support cultural programs and provide services to the Fulton County-based nonprofit arts organizations and Fulton County residents. The Fulton County Department of Arts and Culture assists the Fulton County Commission in the development of public policy on public support for the arts industry, makes recommendations to the Fulton County Board of Commissioners on funding the arts, and generally oversees the development and implementation of publicly assisted programs that address the diverse cultural needs for Fulton County's citizens. For more than 30 years, the Fulton County Department of Arts and Culture has vigorously pursued quality arts programming through the support and development of artists, arts organizations, arts institutions, and cultural programming for residents. Sylvia Culver-Aldridge, Interim Director of the Fulton County Arts and Culture Department, will join us today to tell us more about the Arts and Culture Department. Also joining Sylvia is Charles Greene, the former chair of the Fulton County Arts Council. Charles will provide insight into the goals and partnerships he worked to accomplish as the former chair of the Fulton County Arts Council. Later in the show, Judy Mauldin, the newly appointed chair of the Fulton County Arts Council, will join us. Judy brings a new type of leadership to the Fulton County Arts Council. Judy will tell us how she plans to work with the Arts Council members and the Department of Arts and Culture to connect residents to arts and culture in Fulton County to improve the communities and the lives of its residents. We have a great show planned today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the District. We have a great show planned for you today. Joining us is Sylvia Culver-Aldridge, Interim Director of the Fulton County Arts Council and Culture Department. Also joining Sylvia is Charles Greene, the recently retired chair of the Fulton County Arts Council. Sylvia and Charles, welcome to the District.
Thank you, Commissioner.
It's great to have you here today. So Sylvia, we're going to start this conversation with you. Could you tell us in your own words, could you give us the mission and purpose for the Fulton County Arts Department and Cultural Department?
Sure, Commissioner.
It's a mouthful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And the mission of the Department of Arts and Culture is to ensure that all of the Fulton County residents have access to the arts. And the purpose is to enhance the quality of life of the residents through the arts. I believe that the arts has a very, very strong impact on the social and also the economic health of the communities. And bottom line, we work to better the lives of the residents through the arts.
Great. So how is the department actually structured, and how do you think that this current structure is really sufficient to carry out the goals and the objectives of the department?
Right now we're structured by way of areas of specialties such as contract for services, public art, and programming at the art centers. We have a number of employees who work throughout Fulton County at various centers, And we also have many of them who report directly to the director. So to me, there's something right there that needs to be fixed.
Okay. That leads me to the question of the centers, the arts centers. Could you talk about the facilities and the arts centers that are located in Fulton County and what their purpose is?
Sure. Fulton County operates 4 art centers. There's actually 2 here in the city of Atlanta. One is the West End Performing Arts Center. There's also the Southwest Arts Center, which is off of Cascade Road. And we also have one in Sandy Springs, which is the Abernathy Arts Center. And we have the South Fulton Arts Center, which is in College Park. We also have a real interesting public-private partnership with the Johns Creek Arts Center, which is a nonprofit arts center in Johns Creek. And we have another venue that we have events at, which is the Wolf Creek Amphitheater.
And I'm sure our viewers would want to know which of these facilities are located in District 6.
Sure. Actually, there's 2 that we have in District 6, and they're both in the historic West End. One I mentioned, which is the West End Performing Arts Center. And we also have the Hammond's House Galleries, which is a fabulous art museum, which is one of the oldest houses in the West End. And it's a very, very just exquisite place to visit. So those are the 2 that are in District 6.
Great, thanks for sharing that with us. So there are 2 very important and distinctive programs that are managed by the Department of Arts and Cultural. And I think our viewers should know about them. If you could tell us what those programs are. I think we have public art programs, and then we have contracts for services. So if you could discuss what those programs are and the differences.
Sure. The public art program is a program which stipulates that 1% of the capital improvement funds be allocated and set aside for public artwork. We have artists that we commission to do artwork at various facilities throughout the county, such as libraries or parks or health centers. And the artists that we commission with actually create unique works of art specific to facilities throughout the county. The Contract for Services program is a program by which we offer grants to nonprofit arts and culture organizations in the county. And they allow us to expand the reach of art in the county. Last year we had the opportunity to make awards to 89 organizations, which reached about 4 million people. So we had an excellent opportunity last year, and we will this year going forward with the Contract for Services program, and we'll be able to again extend grants to arts organizations.
And I'm sure the organizations that are in District 6 are benefiting from that contract for services.
Yes, and actually last year 59 of the 89 were in District 6, and we were able to reach over 3 million people in District 6 alone, and in that district there was over $1 million awarded through this Contract for Services program. So a lot of good things happened in District 6, and we were able to really expand our services, particularly in that area with the Contract for Services program.
Well, I'm glad. I think our viewers like hearing that. Okay. So, thank you, Sylvia.
You're welcome.
Charles Greene, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Commissioner.
It's great to have you here, and I had the pleasure of serving with you during your tenure as chair of the Arts Council.
Well, I hope that wasn't too tough of an assignment.
It was a great assignment. So, Charles, please tell our viewers about your time on the Fulton County Arts Council and when you were appointed and by whom were you appointed?
Okay, I was appointed originally in 2003 by Commissioner Tom Lowe to serve as one of his representatives on the council. And then in 2005, at the expiration of the then chairman's term, I was appointed by the full commission to be chair, where I've served up until this past November.
And so this November you retired. Why did you retire?
Well, it was time to give someone else a chance to step up into that role. It was a privilege to serve, and I had a great time doing it. But it also takes an enormous amount of time and commitment to service. Sylvia mentioned that the Contract for Services program assisted 89 different companies this past year. One of my goals upon becoming chairman was to try to get to a performance or visit the site of as many of our contractees as possible, and I made it to about 60 during that term, but I've just run out of gas.
I understand. Charles, during your 6 years as chair of the Fulton County Arts Council, could you recap for us your accomplishments as chair?
Well, it's a challenge because the way the committee is structured, you have 15 members, one of which is appointed by the full commission, but 14 are appointed by the 7 commissioners. And so there's a constant change of roles and people coming onto the council with different backgrounds, different perspective, different interest, and trying to harness the energy among those people to get out into the community and to be eyes and ears in the cultural community for the commission. It's sometimes a fun task, but sometimes it can be a little bit vexing. We had to reign over the period where the cultural investments were pulled back about 20% over that 6-year period from a much more robust investment earlier. But like every department, we've had to tighten our belts quite a bit and get more focused on how we invested the county's budget that's made into this area.
What do you see as some of the challenges ahead for the cultural community?
Well, there's a new economic paradigm. I'm a finance major, as you know, a banker by my career. And we've come into the new normal, which is a smaller economy. A lot of financing was pulled out of it during the collapse of 2008. And that has impacted disposable income for most of participants in our economy. That's meant that people have fewer dollars to spend, not only to attend performances, but to contribute to their favorite cultural organization. So these companies have found it difficult to provide the same level of performance and deliver the same services because their budgets have been pulled back too. Mm-hmm. Fulton County's tax digest has been significantly impaired during this period, and accordingly we've cut back the budget in all places, and the Arts Council was impacted by that as well.
Well, Charles, I want to thank you for your tenure on the Fulton County Arts Council and for being the chair for so many years. Thank you so much for joining us. When we return, Judy Mauldin will be joining us to introduce herself to our viewing audience and discuss her vision as the newly appointed chair of the Fulton County Arts Council. You are watching The District. Stay tuned. There's more to come. Welcome back to The District, everyone. If you just tuned into the show, we had a great conversation with the Interim Director, Sylvia Adridge, about the Fulton County Arts and Culture Department and its mission, organization, programs, and goals. We also had Charles Greene, the recently retired chair of the Fulton County Arts Council, who shared the history and his insight and accomplishments of the Arts Council during his tenure. Our discussion continues with Judy Mauldin, the newly appointed chair of the Fulton County Arts Council, joining Sylvia Culver, the interim director of the Fulton County Arts and Culture Department. Judy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And Sylvia, welcome back.
Thank you.
Sylvia, let's start this discussion with you. Partnerships are important to me because most plans are accomplished more effectively with a good team. For many years, I have been building partnerships with residents, communities, elected officials, organizations, and many other entities. So could you please explain the Fulton County Arts Culture Department and its involvement with the Arts Council and how the two work together?
Sure. The Department of Arts and Culture and the Arts Council work together in a lot of ways, particularly as it relates to the Contract for Services program and also the Public Art program. Both of those programs have community-driven selection processes on which Arts Council members sit and are involved in the selection process. And the recommendations from the panels that we work with in those two areas, the recommendations before they go to the Board of Commissioners are actually approved by the Arts Council chairperson. So there's a lot of involvement, particularly with those two areas, contracts for services and public arts, with the department and with the Arts Council. One of the main benefits of the Arts Council is that they are a strong arts advocate, and they are the voice and the eyes and ears for Fulton County's Board of Commissioners. So they keep the commissioners abreast of what's going on, not just here in Fulton County, but throughout the arts community. And they also keep them apprised of the needs of the residents here in the county. So they're a great benefit for the department.
Thank you. And Sylvia, I want to say thank you for your dedication and service to the Fulton County Arts Council as well.
Thank you.
So, Judy, again, thank you for joining us. I'm so excited to have you as chair.
My pleasure.
So as my appointee to the Fulton County Arts Council, as the new chair, would you please share with our audience your background and involvement in the arts and cultures industry and communities?
Well, I'd be happy to, and thank you so much for this opportunity to serve in a different capacity. My background is somewhat eclectic. Being from Washington, D.C., I was pretty much raised in the arts community, very young, singing Renaissance music in the madrigals, playing the flute, even as a young intern for the National Gallery of Art when I was just 17. But later I started working in the Capitol Hill arena pretty much with lobbyists. And I did that for about 10 years for a company called Legislate, and it was a Washington Post company. After I did that, I moved to Miami, where I worked in the telecommunications industry as a senior marketing manager. And from there, I went on to get more involved in the entertainment industry, as far as managing artists, recording artists, concert and touring. Just a wide range of entities within the entertainment industry. And from that, I've lived in Atlanta for about 23 years, but simultaneously also living in New York and Los Angeles. And in New York, my husband at the time was the first African-American president of Columbia Records, and he also served as senior vice president of Columbia Records Group. And I pretty much did special events and kept our companies, our other businesses in check while he did the Mr. President role. I've been involved in nonprofits pretty much my entire life. In 2001, I co-founded an organization called Hip Hop for Humanity. And the whole purpose of that was to just expose what I thought, the other side of the hip-hop community, that it actually has a conscience and that people care. So I've been involved in the nonprofits for some time.
You talked about growing up in Washington, and so did I. And so I know you were involved with government and government relations. Could you talk about your experience in government relations and how you see that helping you as you move into this position as chair of the Fulton County Arts Council?
Well, I'd be happy to. I think it's interesting. One of the most important things that I did was my client base was a diversity of lobbyists, trade associations, and labor unions. And working for Legislate, it was an online federal legislative and regulatory tracking system. So I came in as a nonpartisan capacity and worked with various entities so that they could follow Congress. In that capacity, you know, I had to serve in a role where not only providing them information, but influence, which pretty much is what politics is the art and science of influence. So I kind of walked that fine line. And now it's interesting in this capacity as chair, because the council is situated pretty much between the art department and the staff and the Board of Commissioners. Not only are we providing information, but we have a great mix of county commissioners as well. So it's important to be able to use that skill set in terms of influence, so that we could be a better advocate as well for the art community, as we're pretty much sandwiched in between the department and the county commissioners.
Yes. So tell me, Judy, what are you most passionate about in terms of making an impact as you take on this new role as chair of the Fulton County Arts Council?
You know, that's an interesting question. For me, the youth is important in arts and education. I'm very, very passionate about that because I'm here because of arts and culture. But the other side of it is that the creative community is so powerful, and the economic impact of the creative community is also very, very important. And I think it's important that when people think of philanthropy, that it's not necessarily a donor giving to arts, but it's more about what arts does to the community. And so I want to come from that perspective that, you know, the arts community is very powerful. It's an economic driver. In Fulton County alone, there's over 816 cultural nonprofit organizations. And as Sylvia mentioned, through the Contractor Services, we are basically supporting 89 of those organizations. So I feel that we have more work to do in that capacity. And I think it's important because when you have arts and culture, a community thrives. And it's really the fiber and the soul of our communities.
Great. So as the new chair, would you describe your core values, your key focus and goals for the Arts Council this year?
Well, my values are pretty simple. I believe in, of course, integrity and commitment, focus, just basic core values that I bring. And so I would like to see more efficiency in terms of the county getting more money out of the arts dollars, because we are in trying times. But I think that there's a lot that we can do. So I would like to take the various members and as they come on board, look at their skill sets and basically use those skill sets like a CEO would do pretty much in their business, and match that, of course, with the needs. So where the staff can do certain things, then we can also, as a council, bring our skill sets to the table and work together in a more cohesive way. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing as well.
Great. So will you be facilitating and championing arts and culture influences from other markets and communities during your tenure?
Well, you know, it's funny you asked that. As I am serving in a volunteer capacity and of course the other board members, I still wear my other hats. I still run Hip Hop for Humanity, and just recently one of the programs, the Business of Entertainment, which was very important to me, got picked up by the United Nations as part of a compendium package called Music as a Global Resource. So, and what all that means is basically the program itself is going to be used as a template in other countries. So I will be traveling to Africa. And one of the things also as a role here on the council is to wear that hat. So when I travel, I am traveling as an ambassador. So I'm representing Fulton County in those various markets and international markets. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, Judy, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the Fulton County Arts Council.
Thank you.
As we close this interview, Judy, please tell our viewers how they can learn more about the Fulton County Arts Council and how they can contact you.
Well, one of the things that I would like for people, first of all, if they have questions, suggestions, information, we'd love to hear from you. We have an email address that you can contact me directly. It's fcaccjm@gmail.com. So that's Fulton County Chair, Arts Council, jm@gmail.com.
Great. And Sylvia, once again, would you please tell our viewers how they can contact the Fulton County Arts and Culture Department?
Sure, they can go to our website, which is fultonarts.org. That's FULTONARTS.org. Or you can call our main line at 404-612-5780.
When we return, I will share my closing thoughts. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the district. Today we talked with Sylvia Culver Adridge, Interim Director of the Fulton County Arts and Culture Department, and Charles Greene, the recently retired Chair of the Fulton County Arts Council. We also heard from Judy Mauldin, the newly appointed Chair of the Fulton County Arts Council. The Fulton County Arts Council and the Fulton County Department of Arts and Culture serve as Fulton County's funding agency to support cultural programs to provide services to Fulton County-based nonprofit arts organizations and Fulton County residents. The arts are essential to the quality of life of our citizens and to the economic and social health of our communities. I want to thank my guests for their information and education they provided to us today. Thank you for joining us on The District. That's our show for today. Feel free to contact the district office anytime by calling us at 404-612-8226. You can email us at district6@fultoncountyga.gov, tweet with us at ComJoanGarner, and of course, friend us on Facebook. Until we meet again, I'm Joan Garner, Commissioner for District 6. Thanks for watching The District.